That was a heck of a rain shower we just had. Hey everybody, it's Ryan. Welcome back to How Farms Work. We're standing out in the field today. We have the 8235R hooked onto the Brent 1396 grain cart. I've got Eli and Tony over here. They're gonna walk us through the cart, talk about it a little bit, and introduce some of the features of these dual auger grain carts, since this is the first time we've ever run one. So, what do you have to say about it?
Sure, so first off, we can start off by kind of running through the cart as far as, I think you're familiar with the corner auger style cart, which would be a little different style than what we have here. Like you said, this is a double auger cart, meaning there's a floor auger, and that's coupled with this vertical auger here. So that's kind of what sets the two apart. Corner auger would just have a single auger profile that leads down to the sump, where this is more of a force-fed style cart. So what you're gonna get with a double auger cart, especially the Avalanche that we have here, it's really gonna shine in those high moisture corn scenarios, steeper sidewalls, so it's gonna be able to clean out there, you know, with a high moisture scenario. The other thing that we have here, I mentioned it's force-fed system. The unload speed that we're gonna see is gonna be quite a bit higher than we might see, you know, with a corner auger style cart where we're just relying on gravity to deposit that grain. One thing that's interesting, I guess, when we're talking to guys is, you know, they have an impression that with a double auger system, there's more components, it's less reliable, whereas this is actually a cart that we often see being ran by our custom cutters, you know, millions of bushels going through these things every single year. So it is a cart we've had a lot of success with, and continues to, you know, be successful across the market. You know, when I'm talking with a customer as far as why they might go with tires versus tracks, a lot of it's gonna come down to basically their farm layout. You know, if they have a lot of miles between fields, you know, tires might be a better solution for them, whereas tracks, you know, they're gonna be more money, but, you know, from a compaction standpoint and just the ability to get in the field, you know, when conditions are not quite perfect, the tracks are really gonna shine. So here we have the 1250 tire offering that's offered on both the 11 and 13 bushel or 1300 bushel carts, and then we'd also offer like a walking tandem style dual setup here, as well as the tracks that you mentioned. So within this family of cart, we have a various range of sizes. This is the 1300 bushel cart, and we have 11, 13, 15, 2000 and 2500 bushel capacity set up there. So we have a pretty wide range of carts available in this format, and like you said, you see them all the way across the board. So absolutely, that's just crazy to me, thinking of a 2000 bushel cart. I mean, to me this is massive enough. I mean, I'm used to, you know, 250 bushel grain wagons and doing it that way with an auger, taking the auger out to all the different fields and moving from one field to the next, taking a whole day just to move everything. So
well, the advantage of the 2500, for instance, you have a lot of infield storage.
Yeah.
Where if you got 3-4 combines running, it's nice to have that added capacity just to sit there in the field waiting on the trucks.
Absolutely. Even with us just running one truck, I mean, it gives us time, gives me time to go down to the elevator and back. So that's definitely handy. I mean, it really helps speed up our harvesting. So something that's new, I guess, that you'll see on some of our newer models of the 96 series, we actually have these color-coded hose grips, which is a nice feature, so we know what we're hooking up. We have 4 SCVs running this cart here. What those all are going to do, the red ones we see marked here are going to run the flow door. So that's what we see here. We have this indicator that's going to basically tell us how much grain we're letting into that auger system. The blue that you see here is actually going to control this auger pivot function. So what I'm saying there is this whole vertical auger assembly has the ability to pivot both down and up. So that's a real nice feature that sets us apart with our double auger cart. We have the ability, you know, as we're coming into a truck, say you got some cool tall stacks on that truck, we can pivot that auger up and clear them and then drop it right back down, you know, into the truck that way. On a real windy day, that's a nice feature as well. So another feature, yellow, would be spout tilt. This whole spout here, where we see the lights, we have the ability to pivot or tilt that auger in and out. If we go with a joystick setup, which is an electrical over hydraulic block setup, we actually have the ability to add a spout rotate function. So that would be an added
option when selecting that joystick.
Yep. I remember that on the carts that we had previously. They could turn side to side too, which is really nice for controlling precisely where you want the grain to go.
We actually have 2 positions that we can store that auger in. As you can see here with this rest stand up, that's going to be our field working position. For a shipping or a transport position, we have the ability to swing that rest down and put that auger down furthermore. So probably wondering what we got this handle for. I mentioned that this is a dual auger setup. It's actually coupled by some belts that we'd see here. The belts do a good job of absorbing, you know, some of that initial shock upon turning your PTO on. But what we see here with this handle is we have the ability to disengage that horizontal from the vertical auger. Say we get into a scenario where we slug the system, say the operator, you know, shuts that PTO off mid-load with the flow door wide open. You know, with some of the other setups, customer might have to fold that auger and just dump the grain out everywhere. With this setup, we can actually disengage the vertical from the horizontal auger. That's going to allow us to just run this vertical and clean the system out, and I'll show you how to do that here. So right now it's disengaged. The belts are not tensioned, as you see. We just have an over center mechanism, and if I fold this down, I've actually engaged the system, so the augers are coupled together with these belts that you see here. So we include this tool. This actually just ships along with the system. We just store it right here. We actually have some clean out doors that you see. They're open at this time. They run all the way along the bottom belly pan here. And this tool actually serves the same purpose as it fits in this notch system here. And we can open or close the doors. So.
And why do we want to clean out the bottom?
End of the year, you know, we got some dust. We got some remnants probably left in from season. You know, we can open those doors up and open the flow doors and wash that whole cart out so it's ready for the next year. So this cart is actually equipped with Unverferth Pro. So that's going to be our most advanced scale system that we offer. It's actually an ISO capable scale. So you see that line that's hooked in the back of the tractor. That's going to allow us to populate our scale reading on your display, you know, whether it's your Pro 700 or 2630, whatever VT ISO capable display we have there, we should just be able to populate our scale signal. So this is a system that we worked with Raven on pretty closely. Had a lot of success with it. We introduced our Unverferth Pro system within the last couple years. And what that does, I mentioned it's an ISO capable scale, but we actually have the ability to sort our loads through a grower farm field format. And you know, at the end of the year, we can organize our data through their cloud offering, which is called Slingshot, and just really allows us to gain more ability as far as how we sort and organize our data. So
where are the scales located at?
So this actually has a 5-point scale system on it. You can see this gray bar here, that would be one of the load cells present. So this would have a 5-point load cell system on it.
Okay, so it's got
there's
2 on each.
The axle. Yep, 2 on each side, left and right, and then we actually have 1 in the hitch there as well. So
I see the wire going to it there.
Yep, we got her here. We actually have a grease bank that we added within the last year or so. This is a feature that a lot of guys have enjoyed that have had a chance to run it. We actually have the ability to grease several areas on this cart through one central location here. So we have, you know, the vertical auger. There's some pivot rings here that allow that auger to pivot up and down. There's some grease zerks associated with that. There's, you know, a drag auger carrier bearing here. So instead of climbing all the way underneath to grease that location, we brought everything right here so the user can take care of that.
That's really nice because there's no hidden grease zerks that way.
You got it. So there's a couple others, one for the upper auger carrier bearing there too. But again, just like you said, it kind of brings everything to one spot and you're less apt to forget it when it's all in one location there. So one change we've made, and you know, the last year or so too, Ryan, would be these larger windows that we see here. So,
which are also really nice.
Yep, we have better visibility into the tank, and when we're empty like this, we can actually see through the back there in case anything's behind us.
Big thing for me is looking straight back through, so if there's a wall or something back there and you need to back up, you can see it coming.
We actually have a rubber tongue support here. It's kind of hidden where we're looking here, but if you looked underneath, there's actually some rubber blocks which is going to better suspend that tongue as we're bouncing through the field. A big question guys always ask is, how fast can I unload this thing? You know, this is a 1396. I mentioned we offer up to a 2596. This cart would be close to 850 bushels per minute. So, you know, we kind of shoot for a 2-minute unload time. You'd be able to do that pretty easily with a 1396 we see here. You know, I've talked about a few changes that we've kind of ran through in the last year or two. One thing that we've added here is extended wear flighting. So we have a AR400 wear strip that we weld onto that flighting in the high wear areas. So you'd see that wear strip on the bottom of the lower auger, the front of the horizontal, kind of in that transition point, and then the top of the lower auger as well as the bottom of the upper auger. So that's really going to extend the life of the flighting there. And
do you have any of that along the outside of the cart in the tube?
So the tube is actually a thicker material than what we might see from the flighting. The flighting is actually a little softer material than you might see elsewhere, just because that's what allows that flighting to be formed in the way it is. So a lot of guys have issues with wearing flighting out, you know, across the industry, but by adding these wear strips, we're going to extend that working life even furthermore. So we talked about the big tires a little bit. These are going to be the IF 1250 5032 tire offerings. The IF is going to allow us to run at a little lower pressure, and then it also gives us more ability to carry that weight too. It lays out in a nicer profile, reducing compaction, like I said. For guys that are interested in tracks, we actually have several different offerings there. So we have a premium track offering, which is actually called our equalizer track. And with the equalizer track, we have the ability to pivot side to side as well as front to rear. And that's going to do a really nice job as far as dispersing, you know, our weight on that footprint. We're going to reduce the ground pressure that way because we know we're keeping that weight distributed evenly, you know, no matter what, you know, topography we're working with there. So even if we're in the hills or some sort of scenario, you know, you might be loading up one side more than the other, you know, it's really going to do a good job of just forming to the ground contours that way. So previously we had our ladder mounted on the front of the cart. You know, that worked fine for a lot of guys, but if that auger's actually folded, you know, in the rest position, it makes it pretty difficult to use the ladder. So we actually have this side ladder now, and I can actually show you how to work that. So this pin retains it, just make sure it doesn't, you know, bounce out while we're going down the road or in the field. And then we actually just lift up on it like this. It extends out and locks in place. And then this whole system actually just slides up and locks. So just goes up like this. And then something important to remember too is we actually just slide this pin back in here just so it doesn't get jostled out of these rests here when we're climbing up it.
Say that with paint system, it's a 2-part paint system, baked on. It's cosmetic, yes, but it's going to keep that cart looking nice throughout its life. Silicone all the seams where there isn't a weld.
Okay.
So that paint's going to look good for years to come.
Right. You see we got a green one here. It matches well nice with your green tractor, but we do offer them in red as well. So.
See, personally, I mean, I'm kind of like a green tractor, red cart kind of guy. I like the contrast there, you know.
Kind of a Christmas theme almost.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
That.
It gets people talking. So.
As far as operation goes, just something to hit on quick too. Kind of what we'd recommend as far as operating the cart goes is all our flighting's balanced at 1,000 PTO speed. Our drive components included in that. So we'd encourage an operator, you know, really no matter what cart it is, whether it's a double auger cart or a corner auger cart, we encourage guys to run them at 1,000 PTO speed.
So 2,100 engine speed?
Close to that.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to hurt any of the components by running it at that speed. It actually reduces the torque on the system.
Okay.
But instead, we're, you know, changing the flow or the amount of grain coming out with that flow door. So we're keeping that engine speed or the PTO speed at a constant speed, and we're changing the flow of the grain with the flow door. So
okay, you know, it's good to know, because in the past, I mean, I always tried to keep it slower, just you know, thinking that was better for it.
Understandable. You'll see that this cart comes standard with 3 spout lights, so we can have a real good view of what we're doing during the nighttime hours. And then in addition to that, there's actually a hopper light as well, so we're going to be able to see inside that tank at night as well. The 2,000 bushel and the 1,500 bushel cart comes as an option with a tandem offering. So we have a steerable tandem that's actually offered on those 2 lines. The 2,500 bushel cart is available exclusively with that 50-inch track. So
the 1,500 has the steerable as well.
Correct.
Why would you want steerable axles?
So when we're dealing with a cart that big, you know, turning something that big and that long becomes a concern. So being able to turn that is something that's going to allow us to get across roads sooner.
Problems that I've never even had to consider. Wow. Okay.
So,
Sounds good. Is there anything else I need to know?
have fun.
Have fun? Okay. Yeah. Will do. All right. So what do you say we take this out to the field and get a load on it and test her out? We're up here in the combine having a look at the yield monitor. So far we've got 33.9 acres of beans done. Our average yield is 67.7. Moisture is sitting right around 12%. So this is the main farm, and you can see the outlines, all the contours. And the way that we farm is because we're trying to slow the erosion. So we're trying to farm perpendicular to the flow of water, which is why we have our weird field shapes like that. I just took the semi down to Dubuque and got back. Looks like Dad dumped some beans onto the 1396. So I'm gonna dump what's on the smaller red cart and dump it on the Brent, the bigger Brent, because it's easier to load the semi when I know exactly how much is going on, so I can load it up heavier and not be sweating the whole time going down there, wondering if I'm gonna get pulled into the weigh station and wondering if I'm gonna get if I am overloaded. So I'm gonna dump what's on the red wagon off, and then hopefully we don't have to use this unless we need it. Woo, it's close. Well, that's disappointing. I was hoping for 60,000, that way I could spin around and head right back down to Dubuque, but I ain't got enough. I'm gonna hop back into 46, take that back to the buildings, bring the gator out, because I don't plan on using that smaller Brent cart because we have enough space. I can make it down to Dubuque and back in the time that it takes to get a full load of beans. So I'm gonna shut this off for now and wait for Dad to get a full load. We got 2 hours before the elevator closes for the day, so I'm hoping that we should be able to get at least 20,000 more pounds. I mean, he's been harvesting, so he might have a good portion of that already on the combine. That's more like it. We've got about 65,000 pounds on, and I would say it's riding pretty smoothly. The 82 is handling it pretty good too. That's not a complete full load. I wouldn't say that we've got the cart maxed out, but it is enough for the semi. So I'm taking it back now. I'm gonna use the dual augers and see what that's like, and that's probably gonna be it for this video. I'm about out of time. I can tell you already what I like more about these dual auger carts is that you have full visibility of the auger at all times. There's some power lines up there that I'm worried about swinging the auger into, but it's helpful that I have them in the front here so that I can see them. One thing with the corner auger carts is that the augers swing back, and it's not in full visibility unless you can see it in the rear view mirror. So this way, you know, I can pull out somewhere where I know that it's not going to hit anything, and I can maneuver around those power lines by swinging the auger itself lower, which is what I'm going to do. I pulled ahead, so I'm not going to hit the power lines. I'm going to swing the auger out, get it tilted down low, and then back over the semi. So I'm probably not going to load here anymore with the power lines right there. I never really did care for that. So if we're loading anywhere here at the main farm and it's dry enough, I'm going to pull around back. Unfortunately, Travis is also pulling in every now and then with a load of bales, and he's unloading bales back there. So this is more out of the way for now. I can't see a thing. Holy cow. Yep, those beans are dry. That was fast. I unloaded that in 8 minutes, which is much slower than this cart can do. But it's when the beans are dry like this and you really can't see what's going on in the truck, how fast things can go wrong, like can happen really fast. Such as what happened on the front there. I mean, I'll back up so you guys can see it a little better now. But yeah, it added up pretty fast on the front. Faster than what I'm used to. And it's right on the edge. But we'll throw a tarp over that bad boy and nobody will know the difference. But yeah, it's definitely gonna take some getting used to unloading with the tractor running at 2100, because everything just happens so fast. And I know that's what a lot of people like, to be able to unload fast, more skilled operators. But being as that this is my first time operating this cart, it's a lot like the carts that I've operated in the past. You know, it doesn't take too much to get used to as far as like how to operate it. It's just I'm not used to how fast it can unload, because in the front I had it at 10, which is all the way open, for very briefly, and the rest of the time it was mostly in that 5 and then 2 and then 1 at the very end. So we've got about 60,000 pounds on, which should be a pretty good load. I'm gonna head down with that tonight, and I'm gonna take this out to the field so that Dad can keep dumping on it, and hopefully we can at least get a full load for me to fill up when I get back, and I can go down first thing in the morning. So that's pretty much it for this video. Unfortunately, I'm out of time, but be sure to stay tuned. I'm going to be doing a lot more showing this grain cart. Once I get used to it, I'll be able to handle it a lot better. I definitely like the fact that you can tilt the auger. That's something that I hadn't been expecting, is for high or for low clearance spots where there are things like power lines. It's really nice to be able to lower the spout all the way down to where you want it. And you can get it really close to the truck, or you can have it way high up, you know, if you're one of those mounding kind of people. But yeah, seems like a good cart. I've still got 7,000 pounds on. We're gonna see how much this cart can hold in upcoming videos. So anyway, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching this video, guys. Be sure to check out all of our other videos. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. All how farms work. And with that, it's a great day to be a farmer. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.